had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So then I'm doing IT, and when I go to plug the servers in, they become sentient, and they won't let us access our network unless we forward their chain emails and memes to more and more and more people, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant finds and invites best fit candidates to apply, so you can discover talent you may have missed. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A strong defense? No. A strong deodorant? Yes. A six-pack of abs? Nope. Six-pack of beer? Yes. Get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol 21 plus and in select cities. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Thank you for listening to No Question About That. If you want to support the show, you can get our backers content for about £4 or $5 a month at patreon.com/NQAT pod. Or in the Apple Podcast feed. We do a weekly show for backers, merch at higher tiers. And I know money's tight these days, so you can also support us for free by leaving a review, hopefully with 5 stars, on your favourite podcast platform. Many thanks. Welcome to No Question About That. We are talking about United 0, Wolves 1 today with Tom. How's it going, Tom?
Good. I think I'm still riding the wave of Thursday, to be honest. It's, I guess, a shame that our players weren't riding the same wave, but felt like more of a calm down for that, which is fair enough.
After the Lord Mayor's show, wasn't it? We had the Viagra-induced moment of Thursday, and now we're all a bit limp. I don't know whether that's a good analogy. Probably not. It was very flat today. I mean, I guess the lack of intensity was kind of understandable. A lot of changes. I think there were 6 players who started who are 22 or under. Chido Obi came on later on to add to the youth. And so the lack of coherence in the team, kind of inevitable, really. Lack of intensity after Thursday, kind of inevitable. And yet, as my Twitter followers will tell me, stop celebrating mediocrity, but there were some bright spots. Harry Amas, Tyler Fredrickson.
Harry Amas is great, yeah. Yeah, both feel great.
Both great today. Both did really well. Yeah, I think Harry Amas is a legit option. In fact, it kind of feels, after Amas did well in pre-season, when we had was it LA? He had a really good game, and then Ten Hag just kind of ignored him. I guess the noise is coming out of the club where he wasn't physically ready, and maybe has kind of got physically developed over the last 6 months or so, but feels like there's an option there that we were missing. And Tyler Fredrickson, he's been given the opportunity because obviously they're resting Maguire and Lenny Yoro, Delict not fit, and Aidan Heaven still with a boot on after he had a setback in training, but he's come in first start for the first team, did really well.
Yeah. And Wolves weren't at it either. Like, if you looked at the form table before today's game, Wolves would have been second over 5 games, but I think even second over 10 games. They've been in really, really good form under Vitor Pereira. Yeah. But today, they looked as unasked as us, but large parts, actually less asked. Like, the amount of space that they were giving Christian Eriksen throughout the whole game, you think in Eriksen in that deeper position, you think, that might be a worry in a different day, but he was just having the walk of the space, wasn't he? The walk of the play, sorry. Just picking up the ball, doing Christian Eriksen things of maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And yeah, the whole game just felt really, really weird, really flat, very friendly, like, especially first half. I mean, a lot of our league games have felt like that. The Man City game felt like a pre-season friendly a couple of weeks ago. Today did feel like that for most part, but I feel like we played mostly okay. It's just when we get into that final third, over and over and over again, we make some of the most baffling decisions, or we are let down by the worst type of technique. Like Mason Mount had a great chance. Even Bruno had a really, really good chance. And a lot of the chances as well came from the left, and Amas framed some great balls in, and him linking up quite nicely with Garnacho, who wasn't at his best day, but still created a lot of chances and a lot of openings and a lot of opportunities. And the big one, I'm sure everyone listening will know what I mean, is when Hojlund did that turn and we basically had a 3-on-1. And then for some reason, he tries to do this little turn and completely runs into the defender. It's like, I saw people say it encapsulated his season, but I don't think it did, because he made a really nice turn before that. And we've seen so little of that this season. I feel like the second half of that encapsulated his season, because she's been so off it and
just completely missing.
We'll get into this later, but I would like to see more of Obi, because every touch he makes within reason is really good and really positive. Like his first involvement today was making a run down the side, and maybe I think if he was a bit older, he probably would have shot that first time. He tried to play it into Bruno. I feel there's almost night and day between the two, the way that they think on the pitch. And the Hojlund mistake was just an encapsulation of everything that was annoying about today. Not super annoying, but it's just like we could have had them out of sight. We should have had them out of sight.
Absolutely. Create some really good opportunities from wide areas. Harry Amas putting balls in, linking up, as you said, with Garnacho well. I thought Garnacho did well today. I mean, not the final product wasn't there perhaps, but he was constantly running. He was the one player who's committing Wolves players. And he still feels raw in some aspects, but no, you couldn't question his work rate. He's running, he's working hard. Hojlund, his first 20 minutes were completely baffling. He's basically stood still in the centre. I was almost transfixed by watching him, right? He's just like not moving. I don't know whether he got an instruction, started running into the channels. That's fine. And it's okay when he does that, because as long as there's other players who will come in from midfield to occupy that space, which we don't really have a box crasher, and not since Scott McTominay left and started banging in loads of goals for Lazio, including a fine header yesterday. I know, you imagine he would have got on the end of one of those crosses today.
Yeah, lovely header.
But Rasmus, he looks like a striker who's, I mean, obviously low on confidence, but also he looks like one who's like actually 5 or 6 years younger than he really is. Like the movement in and around the box is almost non-existent. Like all those balls going in, he's just stood there still, like doing nothing. I'm sure the club are looking for options for him. Like I've no doubt, right? It's 2 years now. It's not happened for him. The problem is 72 million euros. Very, very high PSR cost. Even though he's on reasonable wages, it's going to be hard to find someone who'll cover the losses. So, like in accounting terms, or at least in PSR terms, if we sell him, we likely take an impairment charge. Like, so it costs us to sell him. It feels ridiculous, but that is Manchester United over the last decade. You get fucked twice. You get fucked when you do the bad deal, and you get fucked when you have to get rid of them. And I'm afraid that's probably the inevitable outcome for Rasmus, because you look at that and you think, top striker, he's on the end of those balls, or in fact, he's on the end of balls and linking up play, and we'd have probably won that game.
I think a lot of it is mental, because, and that's not just a confidence thing, it's also like presence of mind at times. Like the way he sometimes runs too much in a box. Like he doesn't get that balance right between not running enough and running too much. Like that perfect balance in the middle, where sometimes you might have to drop off from the defender, sometimes you might have to run to the front post. And it's so, like, there was a moment in the first half where he just ran into the wrong area and like completely made the run way too early. And you think, and then with the example that I said, like, that is all mental. He saw that pass there and for some reason just didn't choose it. And there is also a question of technique at times. Like his touch sometimes is perfect and beautiful, and he makes a really like a lovely turn like he did for that moment. But other times the ball bounced off him really easily, or like his pass is too bad at the end. There are so many problems right now And that's why I think I would love to see Obi start from the beginning against Bournemouth in midweek, because I understand the reason why you would play Hojlund, try and get his confidence back, try and, even if you just wanting to sell him in the summer, play him some games so he's going to be in the transfer market. But I think if you were just going fully win right now, I think you would play Obi, because I don't know what. I don't think he could do any worse, for one.
I know.
And I think that what he's shown us, he has got something about him, and especially around the penalty area, he's a threat. He makes the right runs, for one.
For sure. Well, he does, and that's why he scored so many goals at youth level, because his actual game intelligence, although some of his technique is a bit raw, fine today, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, if you watch him at youth level, he's a bit untidy sometimes, but
cumbersome. Yeah.
He gets in those right areas all the time, and that's why he scores so many goals. So I think there's a good future for him. It's like really hard to tell with young players, isn't it? But
yeah.
I think you look at him and go, yeah, okay, he's playing a bit ahead of his time already. We'll see how he develops physically. He's obviously big and quick already. So that's or whether he gets any age-related injuries, because that happens. Young players like this a lot as well, and all of that. So, and the same with all the young players who featured today. It's really hard to tell exactly what their future is, but like on first, second, third sight at this level, you can see there's already quality there. I mean, just kind of reinforces the idea that there's just a lot of work to do in the summer, like on refreshing this squad. We know a lot of players are going to leave. It's just that there could be 9 players leaving. I mean, it depends, like the loanees, they're looking for clubs, or there are options with some of the loanees, some big names, and a lot of players leaving on a free. I think it'll be 4 that leave on a free, and probably up to another 4 who they'll be looking to sell beyond the players that out of the club already, or semi out of the club on loan. So it's just a really, really busy summer. And that's kind of inevitable. If United finish in the bottom third of the table, not even the bottom half, and we can only dream about 11th right now, it's like clearly at any elite club, you're going to start to change things around. And this game, like some bright spots, but it just kind of reinforces, I think, like the work United will have to do. And also in the short term, everyone's like May the 1st. That's the only thing that matters, right? Away at Athletic Bilbao. By the way, as we're recording, they will be playing today against Real Madrid. So good chance to have a look at them if you like. But that's the only thing that matters. Although we're just speaking off air, it's three and a bit million pounds per place, right? And so I was looking at the fixtures this morning going, well, it's unlikely, but just imagine United win all 6 of the games that we had left as of starting today. And you could go, well, results go right, might finish 11th or 12th. The difference between 11th or 12th and 17th, as could well be the case, if things all go very badly, is a lot of money. In fact, about twice the amount of money United will make from going on a post-season tour to Hong Kong and Malaysia. So that's some context. I know it's not the big picture is win the Europa League, right? Save the season. Amorim said, well, it's still a disaster of a season if we win it. Yes, it is, because United are 15th or whatever it is right now. We've lost 15 games in the Premier League. But that's the pathway to rebuilding, to growing as a club, getting back where we should be, not losing games against this shite Wolves team at home.
Absolutely. And even with knowing the financial ramifications of losing today, it still didn't feel like that bad. I think the only thing that I really felt about it was annoying to lose. Obviously, it's always annoying to lose. I felt, maybe some opposition fans are going to give me some stick because of losing today, as they always do. But in that, I think because of Thursday, there was like a sturdiness to my emotions today, which aren't always present when you're watching United in the league, because everything is about the Europa League. Everything was about Thursday, and it mattered so much. Like watching today and going 1-0 behind, you're like, I mean, it's never nice to lose, but the way we played gave me a lot of optimism and confidence, really. Like we played really, Wolves were bad. But in the second half, we played really well. We created a lot of openings. We created a lot of opportunities. It was it was frustrating in this sort of element, but because the game didn't matter that much, it wasn't that frustrating. It felt like watching the pre-season games where you just watch with interest and intrigue and you don't really assess it emotionally. You're just watching from almost like an intellectual level. And it felt like that today. And it was nice to not have any emotional kind of pull. And then nice to watch United without that, especially, I mean, it was beautiful in so many ways on Thursday, but it was also torture. Like, I was so angry when we went 4-2 down. I felt like I felt a lot of emotions I regret. And I was kicking doors and stuff in my house, but obviously you get the cathartic loveliness at the end. Whereas today, it just felt nice to just watch it and be like, yeah, this isn't that. But yeah, that intangibleness of financial constraints, and also we were able to see so much about what is needed in this team right now. Like, and we know it. It's pace from deep, pace and power from deep, and just cutting edge in the final third in goal scoring ability. And that's going to be hard to purchase in the summer. It's going to be expensive.
Hard and expensive. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work on hand for Jason Wilcox and Christine Vivell to do all that work. We had a little bit of a look at Matheus Cunha. I mean, no surprises from Cunha. We've seen him for a couple of seasons at Wolves now. He's developed as a player. I mean, he was a kind of non-scoring centre forward at Atletico Madrid, and now he's a deeper left 10 in a 3-4-3. Everyone will be looking at that going, interesting. We see Garnacho and his rawness still. Like, he doesn't score enough goals. We've got Cunha, who's got, I can't remember how many goals, 16 goals is it for Wolves this season? It's got quite a few. And playing well. And of course, United had some problems today. I mean, I don't know whether the big Norwegian up front for Wolves is exactly the ideal striker for Cunha to be playing off. But yeah, would United spend, what would it take? 50 million to bring Cunha in as the big purchase of the summer? Don't know. No question about that. It's brought to you in association with NordVPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it secures your connection, protecting your personal information and any online activity, especially in insecure environments like public Wi-Fi. VPN also enables your phone or laptop to switch its virtual location to another country, which is awesome if you're traveling abroad and want to access your favorite content. Long-time listeners will know I spent an awful lot of time on the road for the last 20 years in different places, from Tokyo to Old Trafford and New York to the Northern Quarter. The VPN has been extremely useful in watching the games and recording in places where it's hard to do so. True story, I once racked up a huge phone bill while watching the United game when I was traveling in Shanghai. It's on my work phone. I blamed it on calls. It wasn't really, but I couldn't have watched the United game without the VPN. If you want to try NordVPN for yourself, we have a special offer at nordvpn.com/NQAT. You'll get 4 extra months on a 2-year plan. It's the best discount available, about the price of a coffee per month. There's no risk with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and the link is also in the podcast show notes. Many thanks.
I heard on the radio they were saying 65, and I wonder with Cunha if he is better as the small fish in the big pond. At Hertha Berlin before Atletico, where they signed Cunha from, he was electric. He was so good, and then didn't make it at Atletico, and comes to Wolf and does a similar thing like he did at Hertha. I wonder if that is a little bit of a thing, but I think not making it at Atletico is. It's not easy for every player that goes there. Like, they play a very certain style of football, and maybe that speaks to his lack of work ethic and lack of work rate, maybe, in that respect. And I think that would be the big question mark for me. How much is this guy ready to work as we need him to work? And how does he fit, I guess, alongside Bruno if he's going to play in one of those 10s, unless Bruno plays a little bit deeper, which is possible. I try and think what those two would be like on the same team, because Coutinho, it feels like he's not Bruno. He's not the same type of player, but I feel like he's a playmaker of sorts. He likes to get on the ball a lot in the same way as Bruno does. And I think Coutinho has so much quality and so much of the attributes that we need, especially in the final third, that cutting edge, that final ball, that final pass, that final shot. He's so good at all of that. He always has been. I just think there are question marks over him. But I guess the thing is, there's no perfect player. There's no one in world football right now you go, oh yeah, and he's really easy to sign. We'll sign him for quite cheap, so we'll just put him in the team. And I think if you were to look at everything about Cunha, I think you would think he's probably in the top 3 or 4 players that we could sign right now who would make a difference.
Yeah, it would make a difference. It's just, what's the total budget look like, and what can we do with it? I mean, I guess everyone is looking towards the end of the season, sort of looking at these younger players. Amorim spoke about it pre-game. He said it's not the ideal situation to throw these players in. I'm sure everyone would agree with that. It's a bit hard, sink or swim, when you're an 18-year-old in a team that's not playing very well, not scoring a lot of goals, not creating a lot of chances, all of that kind of stuff. But we will get to see more of them. Amorim's clearly signalled. He said the fans will have to have some patience with the results, and it could be ugly the last few games of the season. As much as my hypothetical about, hey, what if we won all 6 of our final games, or 5 as it is now to come, it could get quite ugly if you look at the teams we've got to play. Some teams in form there. And are any of these younger players able to sort of make a name for themselves? I'd be surprised if any of them got themselves in contention for the Europa League. I mean, I think we're pretty set on who's likely to play there. I mean, it's a shame Chiyobi's not
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
registered for that one, and weird rules and all of that, because that would have been nice to have a second option up front.
Yeah.
Given it feels like we're playing with 10 a lot of the time.
Oh, we got Harry Maguire on these.
But it's nice now. We can go look at Frederiksen and go, if we had to throw him in, he's going to be all right. Amas, if we have to throw him in, not worrying about him.
Oh, absolutely. And I think in some respects, the league will give us that. There's the lack of pressure there for the games. And you say sink or swim, which is definitely true, and things could get ugly. But I feel like at this moment in time, at least from my perspective, and I think probably a lot of United fans, there's not that emotional involvement in the league games now. We might have the embarrassment of losing 6 in a row and end up finishing 17th, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. And losing the game today, like I say, I don't feel emotionally down like I would do with, if we weren't in any other competitions, I'd be feeling really frustrated. I'd be feeling really angry, be like, we're not getting any better under Amorim. But it feels like now it feels like most of the season's been our pre-season, but it feels like it can be almost another extension of that pre-season. And because there's not that emotional involvement, and because we have that buy-in of the Europa League, I feel like the fans, again today, we were so upbeat in the stadium. There was no kind of huffiness or whistling about this pace of the game, because of obviously Thursday, we have that bit of goodwill. And I think the only thing from a perspective, you obviously want to see us win. That's obvious. Every football fan does. And we obviously, there's financial ramifications, as we've spoken about. But the only thing that's going to actually come from us finishing 12th or 17th is the bit of the money. And also other fans just pointing at us, and the media pointing at us saying, oh, Amorim's done this and there's another record break and blah, blah, blah. Which all, to be honest, doesn't mean anything. The only thing that matters right now is getting everyone ready and getting us all emotionally and tactically and mentally prepared to win in Bilbao twice. Yeah, Bilbao or bust ×2. It is. Yeah, there we go. No, I absolutely. That's absolutely true. And that's probably all the league games will feel a bit flat now as a result of that. There's a certain risk to that, because we got Bournemouth next weekend. So, midweek off, Bournemouth next weekend. He probably, like most of the players who got rested today, will only play an hour of that game as well, max. Right. So it'll be interesting to see how many start. You couldn't possibly take any risks on injuries, but also you don't
like, do you lose rhythm if players haven't played for 2 weeks? Amorim's job there to work out how many miles on the clock. I was surprised Allo came on today, to be honest, Amorim having talked about now he's played more minutes than anyone else this season. Some of a crueler nature than I might say he's played more mediocre minutes than anyone this season, but he's played a lot of football, and Amorim said he was tired, and he even came on today. But I think that's true of a lot of players, as some of them are very tired, a lot of games, and because of the nature of the Europa League and just how many you play and all of that. So got to manage it. But looking at 11 days' time and going, this is the big one. Keep in it. Don't get spanked by Athletic, who are a decent side, but not a brilliant one. And it'd be interesting that without Nico Williams today, he's got a groin injury. Don't wish injury on any player, but if it was just a bit sore and he couldn't make it for those games against United, well, what a shame that would be.
That would be a shame. That would be a little bit of a shame. I mean, then I think they're the best team left in the tournament. I felt like they've been the best team left in the tournament for a while. While we better or Tottenham, but I don't think Tottenham are better than them. I think it's such a fear that we have that lovely night on Thursday and then it just comes to a real flat crescendo, which is the bit of doesn't really make sense, but in Bilbao in that first leg. But I don't think
bit of a flat crescendo, yeah.
No. Yes, in Bilbao in the first leg, but it's about staying in that game, isn't it? Just about doing everything we can to not slip up, because that stadium will be absolutely bouncing. And we've been in the Europa League before where they've completely played us off the park with a much better team than we had. And I suppose they had a much better team as well, probably. But they are fourth in the league as well. And that is...
They are, yeah.
In a very good league behind three other very good teams.
Yeah. La Liga's kind of... I guess Barcelona are going to win it this season. Ancelotti looks like he's leaving, dumped out of the European Cup by Arsenal of all teams, and not going to win the league. Atletico Madrid are a little bit further behind. They were keeping up in the first half of the season, slipped back a bit. And Athletic Bilbao, the best of the rest, basically. So in a good league. So they are a good team. Valverde's an excellent coach. I think he was kind of a bit maligned at Barcelona because he only won the league or whatever it was, but I think in the context of where they've gone over the last 5 years and their issues as a club, maybe he didn't do too badly. So it's going to be a massive test for United, and somehow Amorim's got to turn around. Like it's away at Bournemouth next weekend. They're doing well. He's going to have to get these players to switch from being part-time players in a losing team in the league to full-time in a hopefully winning team in the Europa. That's a tough one to make sure everyone is physically and mentally prepared for that.
It is a tough one, but it also feels like what we have been doing all season subconsciously, really, because in almost every big game that we played this season, we've turned up. You could maybe point to the Fulham game and say, oh yeah, we didn't turn up in that game, but Fulham at home in an FA Cup, quarter final was it? It didn't feel like that big of a game because it felt like almost like one of those flat games that we've just had so many times this season. But every game against whatever Europa League game we've had, we played well in almost. We played well in all the big games under Amorim, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, obviously. It feels like Man City twice, I guess. I feel like the same in the second game, we were the better team as well, even though that was a turgid game of football. Every big game we do turn up, it's just, it feels like the small games in general, like we just go through this malaise. We're not mentally at it. We're not physically at it. We're not technically at it, whatever. And then the first half from Thursday was just exceptional. Where is this team been? Why can't they play like this every week? And I guess I don't have that fear. Hopefully don't have that fear with these guys, that I just think for some reason they have that ability to switch. This is a big game. Because like everything about Thursday was I know, let's keep going over. You've already done a podcast about Thursday, but like Rasmus Hojlund looked like a completely different player on Thursday compared to today. His touch was so perfect. He was making decent runs, etc., etc. And you see him today, and it's just it speaks to so many players, like their performance on Thursday compared to what it's like every other week.
Yeah, I do think there's a couple of things going on here. There's more space in the Europa games. The intensity of the pressing is not there. You saw today how Wolves were very intense in pressing high to stop United trying to play out from the back. United kind of learned the lesson of the game against Newcastle. We really got in a lot of trouble there and just went a bit more direct into the channels, which actually helped us create some opportunities. Very similar systems, sort of 3-4-3, both of them matching up. United were in this mid-block trying to funnel Wolves wide where they couldn't cause many problems. And the other way around, Wolves were trying to catch us out, couldn't. But we struggled to play through the thirds. And just the physicality, we get beaten up in the Premier League quite a lot. And then the Europa League just seems to be more space. You've seen sort of Casemiro's revival. A lot of that is down to Europa League performances where the shit is not pressed out of him, right? And he's not having to run for 90 minutes. And there's just a little, 5% off in terms of the intensity of those games. And I think that has helped a little bit. I think we'll see in the summer, sorry to keep coming back to it, but if you think of the pathway forward, there will be more physical. I'd be surprised if anyone we bring in is not an athlete in the summer, because we really need it. It really kind of shows where you have athletic teams. Wolves have some players like that today, but not loads, right? So they couldn't really take advantage of it. And I think that's what we'll do. Athletic Bilbao, quite a lot of younger players in there. If you look at obviously they're all Basque, but quite a lot of younger players in that team as well. They are a physical-ish side. That will be an interesting test if there's any difference from the other Europa games. But you started off saying sort of night and day from today to last Thursday. And what did we do in that first half? I ended up feeling frustrated after that first half, even though we're 2-0 up on Thursday night, because we'd missed a boatload of chances. Could have been gone. Game could have been done and dusted, but I guess United never actually do that in any games. So the good thing is we got quite a few players closer to being fully recovered now. Mason Mount got some game time again today. They're clearly not pushing him. Like, he hasn't played a full 90 since he's come back. Luke Shaw got rested after playing 70-odd minutes. That was way more than he was expected to play, but he played all of extra time as well as the last sort of half hour. So you have him as an option. Aiden Heather not far away, apparently, just a minor setback in training. And we could even see Amad Diallo before the end of the season.
That would be beautiful, wouldn't it?
Oh, and Kobe Mainoo getting more minutes today. Tried to repeat his magic from Thursday. Look further out today. Just went wide of the post his shot, didn't it?
Yeah.
The Stockport Seedorf, as they called it. I'd heard that on Twitter before, and I didn't know it spread that widely. And then I saw the Dutch commentary of Thursday night's game, and it's all in Dutch, and then he just says in perfect English, the Stockport Seedorf after he scores the goal. I was like, yes,
that's amazing. Yeah, he was quite quiet today. I actually can't remember David Bentley, who was brought in just before the game and played against us a couple of seasons ago. Though he's barely ever played for Wolves. I can't actually remember him making a save today, to be honest. But Mainoo was quite quiet in that position.
The stats tell me it's 4, but I don't remember. I had a lot of shots, a lot of them in the second half. Yeah, 2 on target. Sorry, not 4. 2 shots on target from United.
And that's the same. Like we've created a lot of opportunities, a lot of openings today, and I feel like we do most weeks. To be honest, it's not even the finishing a lot of the time. It's the bit before the finish is the pass. It's the last pass, which is just either wayward or just the wrong ball, wrong decision.
We're not scoring simple goals. Garnacho to Ugarte for the opening goal on Thursday night. Perfect Amorim goal. That's what he wants. He wants those connections between the wide centre-backs, the wing-back and the wide forwards. Cut back for the third man run or the striker. And it's like over and over again, you saw that in Sporting. And I was like, there you go. That's it. That's exactly what we've been talking about.
We had a few of those moments today, especially in the second half.
Yes.
There was 2 towards the end where Mount missed one, Bruno missed one. Like some really lovely interchange on the edge of the box. One where Obi played it to Bruno, and then he went out wide. And there was loads on Thursday, it felt like, as well. It's just that last bit of quality which we're lacking. which it feels at least we're getting closer.
Yeah, with Amas today, it was interesting because he put those first-time balls in, which I've seen an awful lot of this season. Dorgu's a bit rough with that. His knee's got some work to do. That is the quality we've seen from Harry Amas at age group levels. I mean, he does have a lot of running in him, and he's pretty assured defensively, as we saw again.
Yeah, really, really.
Those first-time balls, those crosses, his delivery there is, it's always been good, and it's just a different vibe to the attempted intricate overloads to isolate the man and then the cutback, and you want that, right? You can't just be one-dimensional all of the time. And it was kind of nice. Patrick Dorgu put in a couple of great crosses as well from the other side, both second phase balls from the corners.
Just didn't have the runners.
Both of them, you're like, someone Scott McTominay, make the run.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, since I mentioned him twice already, I mean, I was not one of these people that was crying too much when he left. I mean, I just mainly because I was like, are we trying to develop a possession-based side? If we're trying to do that, it's hard to see a role for McTominay beyond coming off the bench. Misprofiled for much of his career, as he mentioned actually in an interview earlier this season. It was kind of interesting listening to a player use that terminology as well. And he's a box crashing 8. Like, where does he fit in United's team? It's hard to say. But he'd have scored one of those today for sure.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. And we miss him. We do miss him, even if in the perfect United side, he probably wouldn't have a place. But yeah, good for him. I for one, unlike what appears to be half the internet, I'm happy when ex-players do well, especially when they've departed on good terms like Scott McTominay. He's doing great. Napoli have gone joint top of the table. I think they're only second on goal difference to Inter. They won yesterday. He scored the winning goal. That's his 9th goal of the season. He's doing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always, almost always, I like to see the United player do well. And even with Anthony, to be honest, I mean, he was one of the most despised United players who's ever played for United in my head. But I'd really like to see him do well, and not just even from a selfish monetary perspective, which obviously the financials make a difference, and him doing well makes a difference to what we could sell him for. But even just from a personal level, to see him have a bit of confidence back is really nice, and even more so when it's someone like Scott McTominay, who's a local lad, been through the system from Manchester. Not just again from a personal perspective, it's great to see him happy and flourishing, but also what that says for the next generation that come through as well, that they, even if they don't make it at United, they've got a chance to make it elsewhere and thrive, which gives them added motivation, etc., etc. So it is beautiful. And yeah, it's again today, like to see so many youngsters involved. And I expected more from the youngsters to play because of what Amorim said on Thursday night, that, we're going to see loads of youngsters. But yeah, we only saw 2 from the start. But I'd love to see Obi start next week. I think he deserves it. And again, he can do much worse. I think he's especially that game. Was it? I think it was Fulham in the FA Cup where he did really, really well when he came on. We barely seen him since then, to be honest.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes 3-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that 4th ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling 4 things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
I was looking at Rasmus Hojlund. I mean, since you're talking about Obi, I don't want to, not trying to shit on him for the sake of it, but he's had just 45 shots this season. You just don't score goals, enough goals if you only have that many shots. He's only scored against Leicester, Pilsen, Forest, Bodo Glimt, Brentford, and Porto. Right? He's not even. He hasn't got very many goals. He's got 8 goals, not even against particularly good opposition in most of those cases. He doesn't take many shots. He doesn't make the right runs.
Doesn't feel like he has many touches in the penalty box either.
All of those goals came from 12 yards or less, right? He doesn't even shoot from distance. If you're trying to get a goal, try something. And so for all those reasons, you're like, I know you want him to score, right? Probably Amorim's thinking he needs goals. He needs confidence. For his confidence, he needs goals. That's why we're going to play him. But at the same time, you've got this young player who's clearly impressing enough to be part of the first team squad. You can see the raw skills and raw talent there. I think most fans, if you took a poll today, probably 9 out of 10 would go, yeah, we'd like to see Obi start next week against Bournemouth.
And that's it. I was thinking the same with not wanting to shit on him, but I feel like you have to look at it almost as a scout would. Like, you look at this player and you see what Hojlund's doing on the pitch, and it isn't a personal thing. It's just he's not doing this, he's not doing this, he's not doing this, he's not doing this. And yeah, it's the touches in the penalty area which frustrates me. He either barely makes the right run, or he makes the run too hard, like I said earlier. Whereas, and I said this already, but the way that Obi made that run immediately, touching the ball in the penalty box within about 5 minutes of coming on, you're like, that's what we really want to see from Hojlund. And then be able to like get that snapshot off with his right foot, because he has that ability. That's what's so frustrating. He has that ability with his right and left foot to scored a great goal against Leicester with his right foot. I think he scored another, it was in Europe this season or last season, with his right foot snapshot. He needs a loan. I think he needs a loan to just play at a lesser level, lesser pressure, and maybe with some more space. But right now, everything's just, nothing's working.
Difficult deal to do as well. Yeah, I was just looking at 14 touches today, just 6 accurate passes. It's like, it's barely involved in the game. I mean, I know that's true of a lot of strikers, don't get awful lot of touches, and they're not very meaningful, just 2 in the box. So I was like, how are you going to score? Just how? You don't shoot, you don't score, don't touch the ball, don't get involved. I don't know how many touches of an opposition player he had.
I think the touch from in the box was also when he ran from one ran from deep. I don't think he was played into the box. But
big call. I mean, they would sell him, I'm sure, if they could get the money. I don't think anyone will put up anywhere near the money we need. I mean, is it 64 in pounds? I think it is. So split that over 5 years. You've got a £15 million PSR cost. That's the loan plus his wages, right? It's really expensive for anyone to take him on loan without us paying another club to use our asset, right? Which we were doing with Sancho and Anthony. Rashford's slightly different in that there's no PSR cost, of course, zero book value and all of that. So it's why, when you look at it, it's just why Champions League football is so important. Even if we're not quite ready, like as a team or a squad, to play Champions League every week, the financial boost gets us to being ready much, much faster. And also like cushions some of the financial cost of unwinding our bad PSR position, which may come to pass if we don't get a big fee for Rashford. Like if Villa aren't in the Champions League next season or not in Europe at all, I don't think they'll take the option on, as well as he's done in some games. I think it seems inevitable that Chelsea are going to return Sancho to us. They'll pay a small fee for that, but we're going to have to try and get rid of him somewhere. And Anthony probably, I don't know if we'll get £32 million for him, which will be the book value. So there's 2 there in Sancho and Anthony we may take a loss on, right? So you need the money from other sales or from the Champions League to make up for it so we can move forward. That's what we're looking for, right? Or you look to Le Carrington to come up with the answers. And there may be some there, like we've seen today.
There's so much talent in Carrington. And you say that we haven't got the squad to compete on two fronts. We've barely got the squad to compete on one front right now. But you think reasonably easy to get through that 24 in the Champions League. I know Man City and PSG both tried and failed to go out of this season's Champions League. But you think some of the teams around there, like who went through, like Brugge or whatever nonsense that was also in that first round of 24, we've got more than enough quality to get through that, even currently today, probably. Yeah, it's being able to do that alongside the Premier League slog, because that in European football, because of the high quality and the high pressure and the high intensity of Premier League, I feel like in Europe we would do okay. We'll be fine if getting through the group initially anyway. It's just being able to combine that with the Premier League, and that's where we need to improve so much, and that's why we need power and pace and energy. Even you look at someone like Mount, who I like what Mount brings, and a lot of people have spoken about Mount being the perfect player for Amorim, but and in its early days of him coming back, but it feels like he's lost something. He's lost a yard, and he doesn't have that. He's never had the raw pace or anything like that, but he does feel a yard off it at the moment, and he's not quite as sharp as I think we need him to be. And again, it's early days, maybe that's what it is, but I'm skeptical about what he's going to come back like, because he's just had so many injuries. And there's so many players.
I think that's completely fair. Yeah, Mount will stay for sure. Like he'll be here next season, partly because of the systemic fit, and Amorim likes him, and the high cost, and might be hard to sell him. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure there'd be someone be interested just because of who he is, but I think he'll stay. I do kind of feel like Xerxes, Bruno and him are basically all the same player in this system, and it's hard to, you can't get all three of them inside, that's for sure, right? Maybe you can get two if Bruno plays in central midfield in some games. We'll see how much of that we see next season and what the midfield makeup looks like. Do they bring in another central midfielder? A lot of talk about Edison from Atalanta, another very expensive, but like a combo player. He's a 6 and an 8 all in one. Like that would be a very good fit with the squad. Probably too good for us right now. We'll see on that one. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. You look at some of these players, and Mount may peak just in time for the last couple of games of the season, right? They're clearly building up his fitness in order to not break him again.
Absolutely.
Like, or maybe the England got a couple of games in June, so him and Luke Shaw can go off to the England camp in June and get injured again and miss most of the next season. So I shouldn't say that. I'm jinxing it.
Probably going to happen, yeah.
Yeah, it might do. Oh, well, no midweek game. I'm sure we'll come up with something to say during the week. We'll see. We'll see what shenanigans are going on at United. Well, who's the story? One of the things I enjoyed most after the Lyon game is opposition fans like bitching on Twitter, Liverpool fans, Newcastle fans going on about it. Like, couldn't stand the fact that United were the story in the whole bloody world. If you've watched any of those threads of comms from around the world and everyone freaking out about what an incredible game that was.
I am so thankful that I'm not on Twitter anymore, because I haven't seen any of that nonsense. I've just been so cocooned in my lovely little blue sky bubble that I've just and Instagram bubble as well. I've just been taking in so much content over the last few days. Like, it's Easter weekend, and blessed be the content makers of Man United, because it's just been beautiful over and over again. I've watched so much, and I've not seen any of that nonsense. So, and I saw just a post on Instagram about something about celebration police from Jay Motti, I think, from Stretford Paddock, and I was like, I didn't even know that was going on. Then it was lovely to be in my own little bubble.
Yeah, it was one of the Sky reporters who was like, "Did United win a trophy? Fuck off."
If you can't celebrate 3 goals in 5 minutes to literally keep your season alive, then what are we all doing this for?
Yeah, among celebration policing, of which there is a lot on the internet, that is right at the fucking top. That was horrendous. Like, what are we supposed to go? Oh, well, it doesn't matter because we've lost 15 games this season.
Exactly,
so, mild clapping. Return to the Highbury Library, shall we? Fuck off.
That's what I mean. Like today's result, you're going to get people like that coming out and going, "Oh yeah, you followed it up by losing to Wolves, didn't you?" Like no one cares. Like no one. Look, we're looking at like the camera shots from around the stadium at the end of the game today, and like no one was that bothered. Like obviously, it would be lovely if we didn't lose.
They'd all left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Thursday was beautiful, and the Europa League is what matters. And like, if you just come on, get a grip. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to wind us up, but can't be asked for you anymore, lads.
Yeah, the wind-up was almost worked. I think, actually, it was more like, you shouldn't be in football. If you can't enjoy that, you should not be in football. Do something else. Unfortunately, a lot of the broadcasters have gone down this kind of, they feel like they need to keep up with internet trolls and memes and stuff like that. And so everything's about getting the right kind of clips, including Sky, who used to be the premier broadcaster and now don't appear to take it that seriously. And it's all about the social engagements. It's a shame. Yeah, disconnect from it is the best one. I drop into Blue Sky now and again. I'm not there that often. Twitter, I actually feel out of touch on Twitter a lot of the time because I've blocked like almost all of the troll accounts. Like it cleaned up my timeline really well. You have to teach the algo every couple of weeks because it'll start bending you back to stuff you don't want to see. I'm just trying to keep it like good, positive football content only. And so you have to do a lot of time clicking the I'm not interested in this and block buttons in order to achieve that. Fighting against the algo, sadly.
Yeah, because every time I go back there, and I don't go back there that often, but say if I'm Twitter searching for something, following tab is always the thing that comes up. And it's just always just toxic nonsense every single time. And I'm like, if you're trying to lure me back, you're doing a really, really bad job. Because it's always, I don't know, some debate from America, or it's Elon Musk's tweet, or someone quote tweeting Elon Musk or something like that. And I don't know who is deciding what the algorithm thinks I am. Does it think I'm some kind of gym bro, American Republican or whatever? Like, is that the impression I'm giving up?
I don't think it's very well targeted, is it? All that content. It's much more about what is the stuff that makes people angry and gets people engaged, and they're trying to suck you into that. Yeah. So yeah. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone. You can catch the Lost Tapes wherever you find podcasts. The latest one was on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You like 45 minutes of Ole's career from his debut, and no one could pronounce his name, to coming back after 3 years of injury at the end of his career. One on Kino just before that with the lovely Paul doing the narration on these last couple of episodes. We got 58 to 68 period with interviews from a lot of the old players who played in that period coming up next week. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can catch us on all the apps for podcasts. If you're on the podcast apps, you can catch us on YouTube and leave a review and a rating and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you made it all the way to the end of the show. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to support the show, please consider leaving a rating and a review in your favourite podcast platform of choice, or on YouTube. It really does help others find us. And if you really love what we do, you can support our work at patreon.com/NQATpod or in the Apple podcast feed. Thank you.